Have you ever wondered what separates those who command power from those who chase it in vain? In a world obsessed with authenticity and self-expression, one of the most potent forces remains hidden, literally. The art of masking your intent, veiling your ambition, and guiding perception while revealing nothing. This isn't deception for the sake of lies, it's strategy for the sake of survival. Today, we explore the hidden blueprint of those who move silently but reshape destinies. We live in an era that rewards visibility. We are taught to announce our goals, display our values, and share every thought in real time. But beneath the surface, the true players know something different. They understand that transparency is not always virtue. In the arena of influence, it can be a vulnerability. When your goals are public, they become targets. When your intentions are clear, others can anticipate, intercept, and exploit them. But when you obscure your direction, you become unreadable, a shadow in the game. Consider it like a chessboard. The opponent who sees your next 5 moves will dismantle you with ease. But the one who cannot see even your first will be frozen by uncertainty. Why does concealment work so well? The answer lies in the architecture of the human mind. People fear the unknown. When they don't know what you're thinking, their minds race. They create false narratives, they overanalyze, they project their fears onto your silence. And while they chase illusions, you move forward. This tactic isn't just ancient, it's timeless. From courtroom negotiations to office politics, from personal relationships to geopolitical warfare, those who master the unknown become the architects of reality. When you're quiet, others reveal themselves. When you hold back, they overextend. Your silence becomes a mirror, reflecting their insecurities. The best way to hide your true goal is not to go dark, but to give just enough light to mislead. Let them think they understand. Let them believe they're inside your head. In truth, they're following trails. You've laid paths that lead them away from your real destination. This isn't manipulation for cruelty's sake. It's survival in a world where naked ambition is hunted and exploited. Even nature follows this law. The predator doesn't announce itself, it stalks. The chameleon survives not by strength, but by illusion. The wise strategist doesn't merely hide. They shape perception. They offer stories that feel truthful, but are never the whole truth. What you appear to be matters more than what you are. Throughout history, the most influential leaders, thinkers, and revolutionaries wore masks, not to deceive maliciously, but to preserve purpose. They wore humility to shield ambition. They played weak to invite underestimation. They adopted stillness not because they lacked ideas, but because they were studying the room. When you're underestimated, you're ignored. And in being ignored, you're free to build. This is why acting humble isn't weakness. It's armor, it's camouflage, and sometimes it's your greatest weapon. In the long game of power, your identity is a tool, not a truth. You wear the version of yourself that grants you access. There's a reason the quiet ones are often feared. Silence isn't absence, it's control. When others rush to speak, the silent person listens. When others argue to win, the silent person observes the battlefield unfold. And when the moment is right, one phrase, sharp, precise, can strike harder than 1,000 ramblings. A leader who talks too much exposes their hand. A strategist who speaks only when needed forces others to lean in. They become mysterious. And in mystery lies leverage. But silence is not easy. It requires mastery over ego, impulse, and insecurity. Most speak to feel safe, but the powerful speak to shape outcomes. Trust is the ultimate illusion. It feels genuine. It feels earned. But it's often carefully crafted by those who know how to inspire it. You trust the consistent, the familiar, the selfless. But what if those traits are performances? A skilled manipulator doesn't trick everyone. They target someone who matters, a gatekeeper, an influencer, a confidant. And once that trust is earned, the door to influence opens. But the best manipulators never betray that trust openly. They guide, they suggest, they plant ideas. The result? You act on their agenda while thinking it was your own. To control perception is not to abandon ethics. It is to understand human nature. Deception is not always a lie. It is often a dance, a balance of truth and omission. The true strategist deceives only as much as needed. And only when silence or honesty would prove fatal. They use deception sparingly, precisely like a scalpel, not a hammer. And they understand the cost, because deception without discipline collapses under its own weight. But what happens when you wear the mask too long? This is the danger Machiavelli hinted at but rarely addressed directly. The mask can consume the wearer. If you're always pretending, always redirecting, you may forget what your real purpose was. The strategist must never lose touch with the truth they hide. The mask is a weapon, not a replacement for identity. Your goal is power, freedom, autonomy, not performance for its own sake. So what do we make of all this? To play the long game of power is not to be ruthless, but to be aware. It's to understand that the world is a theater of perception, and the loudest voices are often the least informed. The quiet builders, the unseen thinkers, the masked leaders, they shape more than just opinion. They shape fate. You don't need to deceive everyone. You don't need to hide forever. But you must learn when to speak, what to reveal, and when to let others walk into their own illusions. The game is already being played. The only question is, are you the one pulling the strings?